Isn't it wonderful? Crows top 3, looking the goods, finally showing their premiership credentials, and the world just seems like a better place. Welcome to Two Loose Cannons. I'm Liam.
I'm Ross.
Give me reasons why the Crows can't win the flag. I'll give you reasons why they can.
Can't give you reasons why they can't, but I can give you this. I don't think they're in the top 3 best teams in the league.
You don't?
I don't. Now, I think your midfield's your problem. That's all. Forward and back lines, absolute stocked.
Yes. So, but what is it about midfield?
I don't think you work hard enough. I don't think you're clean enough. And I think you rely on guys like Rankin, and you're relying on Saliga, you're relying on Dawson, and if they have bad games, I don't think you've got backups. Now, I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. I think, when we've always spoken, you've always said to me, you worry about the midfield.
I do, but on the weekend,
I think Rob's a problem.
He was massive on the weekend.
Yeah, but what sort of confidence does it give you when you see the club shopping, looking around for another ruckman, and you put in a performance like that? He had a poor game, and they were virtually drilling him in the press. And then the next week he comes out, and he plays a good game.
He's
played, and I'll give it due. He's played well enough to not have this club looking for someone to take his spot, but they're still looking for someone to take his spot. Now, you said to me that looks like it's going to be Darcy from Essendon.
Yeah.
You reckon he'll come to you next year? He'll come home.
Yep.
So what does that do to Rob sitting there thinking, hang on, I'm busting my gut here?
Look, it's no secret he can't proceed any further with his studies here in Adelaide. He has to go in state if he wants to.
If he wants to be a surgeon.
Yeah. So he's shopping himself around to Vic Club. So it's a win-win for Rob. It's a win for the club. And his last 12 weeks after we panned him at the start of the season. I panned him at the start of the season. He was not the what he could be. Now, he's lowering the likes of Gawn. On the weekend, he gave English a bath.
Yeah, he definitely.
So I'm not concerned about Rob anymore because he's got himself up and going. He's one of those ruckmen. He won't dominate. He'll lower the opposition ruckman to his standard.
He's hardworking.
Yeah, he is.
And that's a good thing. And sometimes that's all you want. You just want someone who halves the contest and puts in a big effort and goes forward, because they're not looking for him to do anything. They're sitting back, the opposition's sitting back thinking, we've got this guy covered. So when he does pop up and when he does kick a couple of goals and when he does dominate, like you said, and he took English, and I agree with you, I watched the game, he took English to them. And the commentators themselves were saying, how's it possible that the Crows are looking to move on for this bloke? He's absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're right. He wants to be a surgeon. He probably needs to go into state. So,
and Victoria it is. And he does have interest.
Exactly.
And when you play like the way he's playing, he will get a contract. And, like I said, I don't think I'm, drawing this out of my ass here. Draper this is Draper from Bombers, will be at the Crows next year. He's voiced his concerns about the performance, of course, and staff putting players out of action through. He's called incompetence.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and Adelaide, you look at their injury list.
Yeah. And Essendon have a history of putting their players in danger. So look, and I said this to you last week. I don't know if we got it on recording or whether this was a private chat between you and I, but the word is they're shopping around and they're looking for Burgess and they're willing to offer him over 2 times of what he's been paid.
Yeah, and look, that bit clubs. I think Carlton was the one last year that really came hard for him.
Yeah,
and there was rumours.
And
I remember sending you messages about he's gone.
Yeah.
But somehow they managed to
retain him, but Essendon are coming hard, and for the numbers they're talking, they're pushing real hard to get him. Yeah. So
but where the Crows sit, they'll make sure that no stone is unturned to either keep him there or they're going to get someone that's off the next quality.
What is your favourite saying about playing a Victorian side?
To be 4 goals better because of the X's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, do you believe if you're playing Collingwood on grand final day,
we're 4 goals better?
You're 4 goals better.
Yes.
You do believe that?
I do.
Now, given your track record against Collingwood and the way the umpires have absolutely crucified you, and I can probably count on one hand the games they've cost you against Collingwood, you still believe you can beat Collingwood on grand final day?
Well, we won't just
That's what
beat
I say
Collingwood in grand final days. We will beat Collingwood at round 23, I think it is.
We'll find out.
That'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And it's not.
But it's a nothing game, though. It's a different game.
No. It's bigger for us than it is for them. They'll probably.
So you'll get up for it. They won't really care.
Yep.
Because they'll be looking at, they'll be 2, maybe 2.5 games clear around that margin.
Yeah.
They'll be looking at maybe even resting a couple of blokes.
If they do, that
you'll get up for it. You'll play well. Yeah. We'll win. It'll give you false confidence. That's all I'm saying, mate.
But I don't
worry
think
about around 23 games. Don't worry about.
I don't think it's false confidence. Once they've broken the straw off the camel's back, the floodgates will open. Floodgates will open. It's just a mental barrier at this stage.
2 totally different games.
Mental barrier.
Grand final.
And going back to the Crows midfield, because that's where where we think that the Crows might have shortcomings.
Yeah,
I do agree. That is probably our weakest area. But statistically on the weekend, apart from goals conceded from stoppage, it was dead even.
Yeah,
we got enough
because you got up for it.
Yeah.
See, look, you can get up for games, and I say this all the time. You just need to win enough to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what you do after that. Now we've finished in the last Ken's era. We've finished top twice under him. And yet we hit finals, and we just can't take the next step. Are you a team who can? Do you think you've got another gear? That's my worry.
Yeah, I do.
I think Brisbane have, and I believe Collingwood have. I just don't know if you guys have another.
I'll tell you why we do. You look at the stat sheet on the weekend. Tilthorpe kicked 6 goals.
Yeah,
but there's an even spread. Rankin didn't dominate. Dawson had a good game.
He had a good game.
I don't think he had a great game.
He did what he needed to do.
I saw Peatling was down.
Yeah.
Saligo was good. I don't think he was great. So what I'm saying is,
there's room. I understand there's room, but I thought the Bulldogs allowed you to play that. They weren't great.
You don't think that their midfield was rolling with Bontempelli?
Bontempelli was about the only one who was up and running.
What about Libba?
Libba was all right. Libba's serviceable. Look, I like Libba. He's tough. He's hard. He reminds me a lot of Zach Butters. He gives nothing. Like, he'd give you no quarter. He gives nothing. He gives you nothing. Like, he'll be on you. So I do like Libba as a player. I like his old man as a player.
Yeah.
Richards is a great player. No, you just dominated with just the way you dominated, and they just seem to have no pressure.
But we're supposed
no pressure
so
on
the Crows are a supposed team that can't win away from home.
No. I understand that, but I reckon it's more about your opponent. You played well.
Bulldogs were unbeatable. Supposedly unbeatable a mile, though. Well, if there's one place that the Bulldogs get up and beat us, it's Marvel Stadium. Not only that, they had a 9-day break. We had a 6-day.
I know that. Yep, and you're spot on. They should
have the cards.
So mentally, did they walk in there thinking, tick, 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 tick?
No.
Like you're saying, we've had the 9. There's only 6.
Yeah.
Tick. That's us.
I was worried.
Better midfield. Tick.
I was worried.
It's us.
When they did the pre-match, they had Beveridge on the Fox Footy commentary, and they had him talking about. They asked him, "Do you need a scout?" Now, pretty obvious question. Yes, they bloody well do.
Yeah.
But he goes, "No, it's not about that. These guys," and he was talking about us. We smacked them when they played here last year.
Yeah.
And where we absolutely smashed them was he identified the ruck, hit outs to advantage. General hit outs, it was something like 50-20. So he put the heat on English. Now, we know how that ended. We just talked about that.
Exactly.
Brian wiped them off the park.
Yep.
But he put it on those players. He said, we're embarrassed watching that tape.
Yeah.
So if they can't get themselves up.
Is it worthwhile watching a game where you got smashed by the team you're just about to play? Because mentally, what does that do?
Yeah. So
these guys have got our number.
Yeah. And so mentally, that just tells me that the Bulldogs just they don't have the resolve.
Again, 1-9 against top 8 teams.
If they were, I mean, that was the time. Yeah, they are. And you spoke about this off camera. You guys have copped flack for it.
Yep.
Last year, the year before, the Crows copped it. We couldn't win away from home. Couldn't beat good teams. Yep. Now the Bulldogs have to live with that tag. And supposedly, and we've got this on the board to talk about Kane Corns.
Yes,
that list as a number one.
Yep, he said it's number one. He said the talent on that list should be top 2.
And again,
not out of the 9, and not sitting at 9, sorry, not out of the 8.
We talk about this every week, not just about the Bulldogs, the Crows, or anyone. bottom 6, the bottom 7 players of a club determines where you go. And there was a graphic that come up. There was something like 7 to 8 players that were under 50 games for the Bulldogs. So that bottom tier is letting them down.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, they're getting Bontempelli to produce.
Yeah.
All their experienced players, they're getting great.
Well, look, I mean, that's from Darcy's down and Norton steps up, you know.
Norton's playing out of his skin.
I thought Lobb was ordinary, to be honest with you. I don't know what you thought about him, but he was ordinary.
Yeah. He was.
So, you know, I mean, look, you say you guys have got room for improvement, so did they, but they just seemed shell-shocked. But they didn't want to look like a team, but didn't want to put the work in. Saw that it was going to be a physical game and went, do we really need a physical game this time of year? And you guys just ran amok. You were loose everywhere. It was just like trying to round up cattle at one point. You were just bang, bang, bang.
Look, the Crows don't set themselves for that. And Bulldogs just come with the same regular intensity, which surprises me because the amount of heat that they cop from the Vic media.
Again, it gets into your head.
Yeah.
How often do you think we had to hear about the 2-8 record against top 8 sides? Although, you know, haven't beaten a top 8 side in how many months or whatever it was. And it does. I mean, that sort of stuff does get into your mindset. You can set yourself for a game. You can go out there and think, okay, come on, boys, we've got to beat this side, they're top 8, and we haven't done this for a while. And that weighs on you rather than relieves anything. You're almost better off just, don't worry about it, boys. Let's just get out there and play this game. Don't worry about anything else.
Yeah. So, do you think the Bulldogs have made a mistake extending Beveridge so early now? It's easy to say in hindsight because at the time,
I can't. Do you know what? In all honesty, now I'll preface this by saying Ken spent probably 5-6 years longer at Port than he should. So I'll start with that because then no one can go, well, what about Ken? Right. Beveridge has probably stayed 2 to 3 years too long. In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think as someone else, maybe someone who might have been a bit tougher on him, who would have played. So that could still have Bailey Smith there for all I know. If Beveridge wasn't there, he might still be playing for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he would be.
So, you know, there's a lot of players who walked out on that club because of the way Beveridge was coaching.
You think
Dunkley, exactly. And he was best mates with Treloar, and they were like inseparable. And then all of a sudden, one out. So there were a lot of players who left because of Beveridge. Now, do you still retain them? I don't know. Maybe they still leave anyway, regardless. But that's, and again, in all fairness, Ken spent way too long at Port, and I think Beveridge has probably done the same at the Bulldogs. But there were those who were excited because they were up and flying. They were looking good. And you're only as good as your last game. That's the other thing too. So if they come out next week and they somehow get over the top of Brisbane, then Corns turns around and says, see, I told you they were top.
Yeah, you're right.
They're a top 2 list. Look at these guys. This is what they can do.
Yeah, the narrative changes really quickly.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it seeps into the mindset. Yeah. So if all of a sudden, you know, they start hearing that, then all of a sudden they become a better team.
And what happens when you're the favourite as opposed to the underdog? Yeah. That's the other thing too. So they go into that game against you guys as the favourites. You know, some of our worst games Port's games have been when we've gone in as favourite. You know, look at the weekend, for goodness sake, that first half.
We'll get to that.
You know, I mean, so sometimes you're better off being the chaser than you are being chased.
Yeah.
Some teams love the front runner thing, and some teams would rather be the underdog. And some teams have even come up with excuses to turn around. I remember Bevo using that. No, he was talking about they were playing, can't remember who they're playing. And not Bevo, sorry, Dimmer. For Richmond, and they'd just come off of a couple of premierships, and they were talking about the game, and he said, some reporter said to him, you're going in as favourites. He said, no, we're underdogs. And they all laughed at him because he wanted that mentality. Yeah. He wanted the chaser mentality, and not the, you know, so.
Yeah. And look, the Bulldogs made a grand final being the chaser. Remember the coming in?
Exactly. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, we still go back to that's the first year with the bye, and what would have happened had they not.
Oh, look, it helped.
If they just, absolutely. So, you know, right place, right time.
So, the only thing you could really glean out of that game is the big matchup coming in. Fox Footy build it, you know, the battle of the big dogs.
Yeah.
Tilthorpe versus Darcy. How did you see that from a neutral perspective?
Well, from a neutral, I thought Tilthorpe had a great game. I'm not sure they needed Darcy, to be honest with you, but that hit on Barts. They're going to find out what it's like to maybe spend some time without him, I think.
No, he got cleared.
He got cleared.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Okay.
And it's interesting because that's not the AFL's line of thought. Those sort of injuries that occur through, something physical like that, they're happy to suspend. Go send it to the tribunal and give them a suspension.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't hear that.
And look, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to see players get suspended for that because at the end of the day, that happens how many times in the match? That's just really unlucky. You just hit the wrong spot. And, thankfully, Butts will be okay. It's not season ending for him. He'll get a chance to come back. Maybe, get back in some stage. So,
And that's another thing. See, that's another thing that was in there. Going back to our first subject about how they play, there was no Butts. They had a 9-day break.
Cook got cast.
Got cast. So you're already down a man. So, anyway. So, Chilthorpe versus Darcy. This was a question.
Versus Goliath.
Yeah. This was a question for me.
So, I think what he also wanted to know was, because you're a neutral, who would you prefer if you had a choice out of two of them to come to Port?
Yeah.
Who would you take and why? And what do you base that off of? Because that part of the question comes from me because I'm interested.
I'd love both, to be honest. I wouldn't be sad if I got whichever one I didn't get, to be honest with you. At the moment, if it was for today, if I'm playing Hawthorn and I want a player, I want Chilthorpe. If I'm looking to the future and I want someone who's going to probably be around 2, 3, 4 more years than what Chilthorpe will be, because I think Darcy's what?
I think he's
about
2 years.
3 years.
No, it's not. About one or two.
1 or 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Given that Chilthorpe's had a major knee, Darcy just tweaked his knee. They're both probably in that area where knees may be something that'll come up in the future. Chilthorpe's a beast. If Darcy puts on weight, oh my God.
What I noticed about Chilthorpe versus Darcy is So Darcy relies a lot on his reach. That's the one thing that, and he's not clean with his hands. How many double clunks did he have on the weekend?
Yeah, you're right.
Chilthorpe, despite his fingers are, taped up like tobacco, he clunks them.
Yeah.
But also, and again, I've noticed this watching training pretty closely, he is lightning explosive. So you combine the fact that, and all good key forwards have that first 10 to 20 meters to separate. He's got it.
Yeah.
So he's got multiple facets. He can stand in the goal square and just clunk them up.
Remember, you're biased, mate. So.
No. I'm speaking about from an attribute perspective and how I've watched Darcy play on the weekend versus how Chilthorpe.
But he's been good, Darcy. Don't look at the weekend.
He has.
He's been good for multiple weeks.
But I'm looking at how they play.
Yeah.
And it's reaching height.
Yeah.
He wants that ball put on his head.
There's that old saying about height doesn't fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So look, if I've got one game and I want a forward to play that one game, I'm going Chilthorpe. If I'm looking to the future, I want Darcy.
And the other thing I noticed is the tank of Chilthorpe. He's running up to half back, relieving there.
Yep.
Darcy seems to stay about maybe 80 meters. That's as far away from goal he seems to come.
Yep.
Apart from when he's in the ruck and then he's roaming
That's
the ground.
Right.
So,
roaming the ground. Yeah. I'll take both, and the Bulldogs and you guys can go suck it.
And they did have a direct matchup. I want to mention this. And Chilthorpe marked on both Lobb and Darcy in the goal square. So there's a win for Chilthorpe.
Yeah.
All right. So your game on the weekend. So you've won. You're a very brave man after that performance to wear that.
Well, look, I halfway at quarter time, I turned to a mate and he was like, "What's going on?" He was filthy. I said, "Relax, man. It's only one."
Yeah, you're always going to.
I said, "We'll be within a goal or in front at halftime." Now we weren't. It was 11 points, but I was still sitting there thinking, "We've got this." Then that third quarter rolls around and we end up, 2-6? And I just think, what's going on? I was just squandering opportunities all over the place, But that last quarter, they came out and you could see West Coast physically fatigued. You could, So from that perspective, I don't know whether they came out and I don't know whether losing Radigalia and losing that unbalanced them, because it just looked like their forwards dominated.
Yeah.
But they were just having so many it was just run and handball down the wings, West Coast.
So your game, it rained during the game, didn't it?
It rained several times.
So you've got...
It was very slippery.
A crappy time slot. You've got those conditions.
Yeah.
And you've got West Coast. And like you said, you've lost a couple of players. So, you're not quite feeling it. So it's easy to see why you didn't come switched on.
Yeah. definitely did.
Yeah, it's easy to see what happens, but you guys were always going to overrun them in the end.
Well, and that was the feeling I had. Now, at the end of the game, my mate turned to me and went, yeah, nodded. But I know a lot of us were filthy at Port, after that first quarter. But I don't know, it just had that feel that once they settled and once they got into the game, it was always going to get on top. But I was really surprised at the ease that West Coast just ran, because normally the one thing we can bring is pressure on the ball, and there was just no pressure. There was just nothing. You had Ali like hobbling around, like why that bloke is still playing. He shouldn't have played last week, let alone this week. You got Horn Fastest. It's now reported that had a broken foot during the second quarter. So how impressive does that make his, third and fourth quarter? Massive. Yeah, absolutely massive. Huge. You got Harley Reid keep flipping the bird to the crowd, and then he's gone for his third trip. I didn't even realize 3 times he's tripped. So he's gone there. They fined him 10 grand, and if he takes an early plea, it's 6.5. But he's not going to care about that. Nah. Then you had the banter between them and him saying to Horn Francis about how, you sooked it up, you went home, mummy, come back to mummy, when he's probably going to do the same.
Yeah.
So, and there was a question posed to us that if he leaves, does that make him look like he's
got less credibility. He's gobbing off about going down.
He doesn't care about that, man. He's not going to be looking at going, because I gobbed off to Horn Francis. Because he can still say, well, I stayed 2 years. He only stayed 1.
And he'll use his $1 million a year to wipe his eyes.
That's it. He will. Yep. He absolutely will use that $1 million a year to wipe his.
I think I'm pretty much understanding. Yeah. And probably get more than that.
Yeah. So, look, all in all, they did what they had to do. It was an impressive game, but the conditions were slippery underfoot, and it rained a few times. They didn't come. And whether or not, for me, for Port, it's season over. Because Horn Francis won't play again. They're crazy if they play Aliyah another game. Our next 4 are Hawthorn, Adelaide, Geelong, Fremantle. That's 0-4 there. Our best chance is Carlton, and it's going to be a matter of attrition, whether they send all their stars off to get surgery or not. If they've got a full list, we're not going to beat Carlton. And then we've got Gold Coast and Muscat. Yeah. So the season's gone. You might as well forget about it. This is your chance to get the kids in. Give them a game.
Have you got names that you want to see in? Or is it just a case of
just get them in? Yep. I haven't really, there's...
Because I didn't see what happened.
There's been players in and out. They've been,
Yeah, because your Sandford team, I didn't see what happened on the weekend, but the week before, they were atrocious against the
lot of them. Atrocious.
Yeah.
Look, the depth's all gone because we've got, look at our injury list. It's just massive.
It's growing by the week.
It is. Like they lost Vicentini, they lose Radigalia, they lose... Who was the third one? Or someone else they lost. This is your chance. Play both. Just playing for the last 6 games. Get him to, whatever it is, 87, 387.
Well, it's good to still have him in to keep the young boys. Coach him on field.
Yep, that's it. So keep him in. Get him to 387. Whether he decides to come back or not.
Does he come back?
Well, I think it's they left it entirely up to him.
Yeah.
And at one point, the word out of Alberton was that he was going to pull the plug. He wasn't going to come back this year. I'm glad he did, because you know what? I'd love to see him get to 400. He'll have nothing else. He won't have any premiership medals to pin. He's got his best and fairest. He's got his showdown medals. He's got his All Australians. That's all his career's ever going to look like. So he might as well get to 400 and hang something else up there.
Plus, you've got to go on the side. If I was in your shoes, I want him. I want to keep him.
No, we definitely want to keep him. But it's going to be up to him. It's going to be up to him.
Elite, absolutely elite. So you want him around those young kids, bringing them through.
Absolutely.
It's Car's first year. At least hang around for one more year.
Yeah. But it'll be his choice. They won't get rid of him.
Of course.
They won't get rid of him. Because how great would it be? And I'm sure every club looks at it and goes, if you can have someone who can play 400, you get them there, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Any way you can. Look, they got Fletcher there in the end. And a lot of people were calling for Dustin Fletcher to be dropped. Now, he's an absolute legend of the game.
And let's say...
And to think that he couldn't have got there because the club thought, nah, you're not worthy of it, that's just... To me, that's just...
And let's say he does get to 387 before the end of the year. It's not unreasonable. He's not going to play every week next year, you wouldn't imagine. No. But he could easily squeeze in 13 games.
Yeah. Look, I can see him being the sub in a few games. As in the rest of this year. I could see them saying to him, look, Boki, how about we play you as a sub for half of them? So he might be three
It's
games.
worked for Hawthorn. I mean, they've had Luke Bruce, they've had Gunston even as sub, I think. So they've used that for experience, and it seems to serve them well.
Yeah. And I could see that, man, and rolling maybe into next year. So they could say to him, look, we're going to start you here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start as a sub. We're going to give you as many games as we can. We're going to try to get you 13 in as early as we can. Because who knows, if he cops an injury, it could be season over and he's not coming back, I don't see. So get him in, don't rest him, play him as often as you can, and let's see if you can get him there. But, I mean, again, that's a selfish point of view because I don't think we're buying next year either. Like, we'll be thereabouts the 14s to 16 mark, I reckon, next year.
It's difficult because the way the competition at the moment is, it's so razor thin that the margin at the moment.
Yeah,
I could even see a potential honeymoon year for you.
Yeah,
where you just spike, and maybe come back to the field the year after.
Yeah, look, we were terrible in 2012 when then Ken comes in and everybody's thinking, "Oh, who's this bloke? He's not going to be able to do anything," and we play finals. Yeah, so you're right. We could spike.
You could have that emotional release. And then, the year after, the second you blues, just come back that little bit. So it sounds like it's all doom and gloom. And when doom and gloom comes around, I think you know where I'm heading with this. There was a headline in Sunday's paper. Chad Corns has been let go by the faithful. And Greg Corns has already put you guys on notice. He is off the chain. Oh my God. The dog is off the chain.
The dinosaur. My God. I didn't even know. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know Graham was still riding. I didn't know he even had a spot. Has he got a spot on the radio even anymore?
I don't know. I haven't listened to the Sunday mornings.
This guy is irrelevant. Who cares? When was the last time you picked up an advertiser? Seriously. 60 pluses are only reading the advertiser these days. So if they want to,
can you believe he dedicated a full-page article to the fact that you
here, Conzi, have an orange.
What's an orange going to do?
Might calm him down a bit. Maybe he needs a bit of vitamin C to just. Oh my God. Last of our worries is Graham Corns getting off the hook and bagging us, for goodness sake.
Well, isn't it funny that Chad gets turfed. You guys are not going so well at the moment. He's probably rubbing his hands together and thinking,
Chad's had such a great run at Port as assistant coaches. He coached the Magpies. He came in as an assistant. He's the forwards coach. You can't tell me that forward line's functional. There have been people who've been calling for Chad Corns to be let go as far back as 3 years ago. So
we were speaking about this off camera, and because we're going to touch on this very soon, I'm getting there, about the assistants. Now, how much of Chad's influence is on that forward line? How much of it is Ken?
Ken. It's from my understanding is it's always Ken. Ken has the last say. Which is why you want to touch on the next subject. Go from Port Hager.
Well, yeah. But also, I don't know. I might throw out because we've also got the Kane topic.
Okay.
And I think it goes hand in hand with Graham Corns. I think that whole family at the moment is a little bit bitter that Chad's been given the boot because now, I don't know. Again, it might be objective, but Kane is the biggest Port cheerleader going, and he's been positive when he's had no right to be positive.
How long a run do you want the bloke to have? I mean, come on.
Okay, so
for goodness sake, I mean, what do you want to do? Does he deserve life membership because he played for the club and he's been an assistant there? Look, guys get let go. I'm sorry, it's a job. We all get jobs where we get let go.
But is there merit in his own?
There's no balance here.
Is there merit in what Kane's saying? Is it doom and gloom next year, or I don't going to be fine?
The simple answer is I don't know, because I've said to you all year, if we don't have our full list.
What I don't get is why would he come out and be so negative when this guy's
negative,
super positive?
But he was negative from the start of the year when they talked about, even before the season started. He was negative from day one. The minute he heard Ken's gone, Car's taking over the concession. All right, he said Port will have it. Now, I'll give him credit because I didn't believe him when he said it. I thought they'd play for Ken. I thought they'd push for I didn't think we'd win anything, but I honestly thought they would play for Ken and they'd finish off his career and at least get him into the finals one last time. Now, Kane was spot on. They have been terrible. They've not played for him at all. there was no passion like there was the previous 2 years where he was under the pump and everybody was calling for his job. So at the end of the day, he was spot on. So Kane was negative from before the season even started regarding Port. So it doesn't shock me that he still has that doom and gloom and I worry about him, because he said that from then. He said if this team bottles out, and we know this, any team who's bottling him out when Tassie comes in, you're going to be there a long, long time. And that was my biggest fear, and I've said that to you.
Yeah.
I've said my biggest fear was Tassie will come in and we'll be bottom 2-3. So
yeah,
and it's almost looking like that's a possibility.
I don't think you'll completely bottom out, and it's to do with your midfield. There's just too much talent in that midfield for it to completely fall away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see that danger zone between 8 and 14 for a few years.
But we're a team, and I said this to you, like we couldn't afford to lose Houston. Doesn't matter what they've got for him, we could not afford to lose Houston.
There's not a lot of elite kicks for your team.
That's right. There's not. So, he was one. Look, we just cannot afford. We can lose fringe players. We can lose those guys who are hanging around because their spot's been taken by someone who's better, and they're just thinking, I'm better off going to another club because I'm not getting a game here. They're not a problem, but you can't lose that elite talent. And at the moment, Bergman's signed a 2-year contract. So I reckon when Tassie comes in, he's walking to Tassie.
Tassie, you reckon?
I reckon he's walking to Tassie.
You don't think in some way he'll go to a big club?
I think the money Tassie will throw at him will be huge.
Oh, it would.
It'll be huge. And I think he'll be, that's what I think. I mean, it may not happen. He may go to a Victorian club. And I think Butters is waiting. He's got one more year and then he's a free agent. So he's going to walk as well. So this is a team that's going to start to, depending on what comes in, if we get Wangaling Malira, in all honesty, all it really does is replace this Houston.
So I heard something from Channel 7 this morning. Rosie was getting interviewed. What actually happened? I saw something about racism.
Yeah, was that Jace Burgoyne?
Yeah, was that
apparently got trolled on?
Why?
Yeah,
what was that about?
Didn't actually hear the full comment. All I know is that he received some racist.
And it was tied in with Wangaling Malira. I don't understand that. If that's your quarterbacks, is it impatience that? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, the gist of it was they signed him. If they extend him, Wangaling Malira was going to come. Yeah. And then from somewhere from around that, he copped it. Yeah. So I didn't hear. Unfortunately, I was going to actually ask you, did you hear the details? Because I missed.
No, I only saw a little bit of a snippet of the Rosie presser, and I'm like, I just remembered it now.
Yeah.
What was going on there? So nothing in regards to that.
I haven't. Yeah, I apologise.
So we'll leave that alone because we don't know too much about that. So maybe it'll be a talking point next week. I want to ask one more question before this is not on the board.
Yep.
I didn't see your game on the weekend. How did Lukosius play?
He wasn't good.
He wasn't good?
He wasn't good. He was, but look, he looked like a guy who had a lot of rust. Like that first game back, he obviously played pretty well against Brisbane. Mm-hmm. He ends up kicking, he kicked 3, 4. So look, he was on fire, but he looked like a guy who'd been out for a long time.
Yeah,
just struggling.
Usually after that,
the second game back is always the hardest.
Yeah.
He did a couple of things. So, like it wasn't completely out of the game. He did more than what's his name did? Then Willie Rioli did, to be honest with you. Willie was running around, couldn't get his hands on it. So, but Jack did a couple of nice things. But
how do you compare it to Marshall? Because they're very similar.
Marshall's obviously a lot taller. Yeah, Marshall's probably got 3 feet.
He doesn't play like
Marshall. Again, Marshall's one good head knock away from. That's it.
Yeah,
a bit like being told, sorry, mate, your career's over.
Because they're talking about the Crows 3-headed monster to potentially have one yourselves now. If Marshall comes back.
If Marshall comes back, and maybe the year off helps him. Because maybe that's exactly what he needs, just to have that no contact for 12 months. And then if he can come back and play,
But if he's not on the edge now that Ken's gone, because Ken was a security blanket for him.
Well, it's spot on. That was the other thing. He was pretty much reassured a spot by Ken. Look, to the detriment of the side, I thought, because there was 2 seasons in a row where they didn't play Trengove in the finals because they wanted to play Marshall, and he absolutely got monstered. That was that draw against West Coast, and then they ended up winning it in extra time. And then the following year, Westhoff doesn't play because they wanted to play Marshall.
Yeah.
And in both games, I believe if Marshall wasn't playing and Westhoff and Trengove were playing, we would have won those games because he was just pushed around. He was too slight. He was too small. He wasn't doing anything. And they were just pushing him around. He was just a kid. So that's on Ken. That's not on Marshall, by the way. I'm not picking on Marshall. No. That's on Ken for picking him ahead of stronger, bigger bodies who could have contributed. So, look, Ken's backed him all
There was a
way.
couple of times he got close to being delisted too. And I think
Ken's about the only way. Yeah, Ken's the only way. And look, they all love him. They all absolutely. You speak to anybody at the club, they absolutely love him. He's a fantastic guy. He's footy smart too. So he reads the game really well. But unfortunately, I think with Todd, it's about mentally now. Yeah. He knows he's one good bump away or one good marking contest from hitting his head on the ground when he comes down away from being told by the AFL, sorry, mate, it's over.
Well, hopefully that doesn't occur. Yeah. Gets through his career.
But we're seeing a lot of that, aren't we?
Yeah, it almost feels inevitable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, kind of sticking with the Port theme here, Kane Corns. There's a question from David, and it's on his comments last week about Bulldogs having the best list in the competition. Given that has happened, and apparently he's come out again on that AFL program he's on a Sunday night on the AFL website, and he's sort of laid it on the Bulldogs.
He did. He repeated it this morning on SEN. If everybody was listening to SEN, he basically said they're a top 2 list, and yet they're out of the 8. How is it possible?
We spoke about this before. They're not exact 2 lists. Well, I don't know why he's analysing it.
Well, it's see, there's a difference between paper and player.
Do you know what gives me the shits about these analysts? Because I've heard him say it a couple of times. So just because you've got 5 players in the top 20 of champion data, what does that tell you? He's basically saying that
list.
No, it doesn't. No. I can have 5 good players, but you put another 15 of me around.
It's still around.
Is that a good list?
But it's still around the fringe part. Like you say, like they're bottom 5 or 6 or 7, 8.
Yeah, it's very thin.
It's very thin.
Inexperienced.
Yeah. So but these are guys who are getting the experience behind them, aren't they? So
they are.
When
we're talking about the here and now, but not talking.
That's right. And you're spot on. And he looks at that list and goes full strength, because you got to remember, like Treloar hasn't played at all. They've had guys out, so he's not just looking at that bottom 6.
So they've got Treloar, Waitman, and Ugle-Hagan out.
Yep, that's
now Ugle-Hagan's not come back this year. I don't think Waitman's in position to come back this year.
I think he is.
So all they've got is Treloar, and Treloar.
Yeah,
that he wasn't even commanding a position at some stages this year.
That's right. But that's what I'm saying to you. So he's looking at that and he's going, well, you're saying there might be 6 or 7 players. If you add those 3 in, you're now looking at 2 to 3 players. They're bench players anyway. So he looks at that and thinks, what a great 18, 20, 21 maybe. So this is a team that looks on paper like it should be a top 2 list.
Look, David has targeted Kane here, but Kane's not alone. He's not the only expert.
Well, the thing was, he went early though, and we talked about this a few shows ago where Bevo confronts him.
Yeah,
right.
You think he shit his pants?
I said no, and I said to you that Bevo looks stupid because Kane's walking towards him like Bevo's gobbing off, like he's walking at Bevo. Bevo's a huge man. I don't know if you've seen the guy live. He's a massive, massive mountain of a man. And Kane's walking towards him. So I just thought it made Bevo look stupid. And then his team performs like that against you guys in a big game, and they've got this 1-9 record. He looks like he's absolutely vindicated in saying you guys are underperforming and Bevo's the problem, which is virtually what he said. These guys wouldn't be walking out. Ugle-Hagan wouldn't be on the sidelines. If they had gotten rid of Bevo, they'd probably still have 2 or 3 of these blokes, and Ugle-Hagan would be playing. So they backed in Bevo because he's a premiership coach, and that's their prerogative, mate.
I think they've got major. It's pretty easy for me to say this because you've only got to look at their defensive frailties and what they consider. But they are so flawed list-wise in terms of their defense that they've gone one way, and they know this, and they've done a good job of covering that for so long. Because if they score 1 more point than the opposition, they don't care.
That's all you need to do.
Make it fast, make it quick, score, and they're doing that. but it doesn't stack up against the good
The
side.
problem is they got the Fool's goal because, well, it's not so much the Fool's goal. They got a premiership without it back on. So they managed to actually win the biggest game of the year. So he looks at that and thinks, well, I've got the blueprint here.
Well, look, he helped evolve the competition, Beveridge, because you think about that 2015 team, and that team was so interchangeable.
That's right. And it was
half forwards going into the midfield.
That's right.
Halfbacks came
and that's what
and it would just constantly throw around. So how the hell did you match that? You couldn't.
Exactly. And he said that. He said he wanted players that could play 22, play all 18 positions.
Yeah, and so the competition common.
That's right.
You know, you look at all the top sides, and the top sides, there's no secret. They're all interchangeable.
That's right.
You can have the half forwards coming into the midfield. You can have the midfielders going to the half back.
That's not new though.
It's not.
That's not new. But they were doing that with Silvani back in the 90s, 80s, 90s.
Andrew McLeod.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not new. Look at Westhoff. Westhoff was a hybrid.
Yep.
But he wanted the next level. He wanted virtually
the whole list
to be able to do all 22 or 18 positions. So, you know, there's a huge difference between just having those 2 or 3 swingmen. You know, so, but in the end, okay, he gets one, which is great. The club deserved it because that was a club that, you know, had gone so long without it. You know, and as much as I love seeing Sydney win it after their drought and you love seeing the Bulldogs win it after their drought, it becomes a bit tiresome, doesn't it?
It does. You know? I just don't like how it was handed to them with the rub of the green that they got on.
Well, look, that was what happened, and you can't, you know, like we all say, if they didn't have that bye, they'd probably see you later throughout the first week.
Yeah,
but
fair call.
You know what? At the end of the day, that was the year to do it, wasn't it? Because that's the same year that Leicester won it.
Yeah,
and you know there was all these long lots.
Sporting
triumphs. That just seemed to be the oddity of any year in the history of sport, to be honest with you, as far as the underdogs winning.
Yeah. So getting pressed for time here, so there's still a couple of things we want to get through. I want to quickly touch on Essendon Richmond.
No, not really. That was possibly one of the worst games I've ever had the pleasure of flicking through the channel.
Love how you said pleasure.
To not watch, to avoid actually.
Yeah.
Look, and Essendon, Richmond are young, and Essendon are also young, to be honest with you. We've given their injuries. No.
So do you have a prime time slot?
No.
All right, so from one rebel to another, let's go to the Western.
No.
I've completely jumped on it. I've got nothing to say about that. Yeah, let's go to the West Indies, shall we?
Yeah. Well, look, their bowling's been good. I can't fault it's the batting. And Calypso collapsed. I said this last time. The Aussies have done exactly what they had to do. Trav, will you stop chasing things down the leg side? Give it a rest. Play in front of you and not try to clip it off your hip.
He's a scorer, though.
Yeah, he is a scorer. You don't want to change his game.
When he comes the Ashes, he's going to get a lot of leg side deliveries now.
He will be. Absolutely. Now, Qantas, what are we thinking? He's failed.
See, you look at those wickets. You got to give him a run. You've got to give him a run in the summer. Give him 3 more tests.
All right.
Yeah. Because I look at what the rest of that top order is doing, and it's not a lot. So he's not alone. Khawaja hasn't scored a 50 this
year. You're right. Khawaja I can expect because he's at the end. Qantas is supposed to be the next big thing. And their bowling, I'll give you, the West Indies bowling's been great. Like, this isn't a club side here.
No,
that's the only thing they've really got going for them, and and that was what won them a game here when they were touring here.
Yeah, so pace and the accuracy.
Pace and the accuracy. So that is a good bowling lineup
on wickets that are tricky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's been some pretty atrocious worm burning bowls.
Yeah, but just for me, he needed to show something, and I don't think he's shown anything. To be honest with you, I think he's gone really meekly.
Look, it is, but you look at the wickets they're playing on. There's a lot of inconsistencies. You can't really commit to good stroke play.
Yeah,
and he's a stroke maker.
Look at Green.
Yeah, well, he's starting to find it.
Yeah, we were talking about should he be at 3 a couple of weeks back. Is he the 3? Are they just experimenting because they thought this was just going to be a walk-in?
He's probably signed that.
But I think after this innings, and he was dropped. Let's face it. I mean, if they start taking their catches, the West Indies, they could have been in both. They could have almost won both tests.
Yeah,
because they've dropped Kerry at times, and he went on to make a big score. They dropped Head a couple of times, and he went on to make scores. They've now dropped Green, and he's made the score. they're losing games by, I won't say close margins, but if they took the catches, like who knows where this Test series might be at. But that goes for anything. Like poor catching is just.
Are you happy with their celebration? It's the West Indies, very in your face.
Yeah, look, I've never been an in your face type of celebrator anyway. But whatever gets you going, I guess.
But I mean, you're celebrating like really getting in your face when you're 2-0 down.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, look, again, you've got to get up somehow. And there's a bit of that little, like the little brother syndrome here where,
they're trying to make a statement.
Yeah, trying to make a statement, exactly. So
make that statement when you've got a batting lineup that can score some runs.
Yeah, but that's from back. It's the bowlers are doing their job. Yeah. It's the batters that are backing them up. Yeah.
But the position that they're in, they can still win this Test match.
Yeah, that's
Australia's teetering 6 for 99.
Yep.
What a lead of about 150.
Yeah. I can't see him getting 150.
No, look, I don't think
at the moment. I think they've got enough runs.
Australia, if they hit four out pretty quickly.
We're about to find out, aren't we?
Yeah. Make it very, very interesting. So
given your hatred for Nathan Lyon, the GOAT, were you happy they dropped him? Or were you shocked like I was when I heard the news?
Look, I was shocked because the Windies went with the spinner Warwick. He's played, and it's very difficult to roll with because I think I haven't watched it, but I think Webster's even going seam up.
Yeah.
So they're playing basically 5 seamers. But I suppose they probably think, well, if they do need to bowl spin, then Webster can turn the ball.
And you've got
Heady,
I guess.
Yeah, Heady as well.
Smith.
Look, I was surprised. I was definitely surprised because you look day night here. There's been green decks here where Lions only bowled 1 or 2 overs.
Yeah.
But they've still played him, so it was a surprise to see that he didn't make it. But again, Boland backed it up, 3 for 20 odd.
That's it.
He's going to be a huge contributor in that second innings.
He's going to be another one who'll go down in history as just wrong place, wrong time. Should have been born later.
Yeah,
if he was 10 years younger, this guy would have had a massive career.
Just think if he played this tour, though, I mean, he would probably lead wicket taker with just how
of course,
up and down the pitch.
And I'm almost surprised that they're rolling with the Stark and
I thought Hazelwood
coming home. I thought Hazelwood,
I would have thought he was going home.
One or the other. You rest Stark or you rest Hazelwood. I don't know. You didn't need to play both of them.
Oh look, Stark sees pink bowl. No, you're not dropping Stark.
Look, Starky's, but it's wear and tear. Like it wouldn't have hurt him just to rest them and give Boland the whole 3 tests.
Yeah,
and then rest one of the other.
At this stage, I don't want to see them playing the white ball series because for me, pointless. The Ashes are coming up.
Yeah.
That's, you sustain an injury bowling 10 overs in a pointless one-day series.
Yeah.
These Test matches at least count for the World Test Championship. So I understand why you still go for the throw. You want that 3rd win. You want to chalk it up because you look at the World Test Championship. It's not easy to get there. Even Australia's been there 2-3 times.
So what are you seeing from the England and India?
Spire.
It is, isn't it? Very
the Indians love rubbing people up the wrong way, don't they?
Very responsible.
Shubman Gill's taken that agitator role.
Yeah.
It just seems to come with the Indian cap. You had old mate Ganguly.
Yeah.
You're right. Sharma was at least a steadying influence.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. But I'm seeing a lot of we don't like you and you don't like us, so let's fight to the death.
Yeah, but which look, I'd love to see more of it. In terms of starts, it's on right now. So very interesting final day coming up.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah,
it will be. It's not a big total. So
no. But that England could roll. They could roll.
Good.
So look, very interesting series. It's been enjoyable to watch and just in some way, I hope. I don't care who wins the series. It's great if England gets up because it makes the Ashes feel that little bit more spicy. But if India gets up, you don't mind seeing it because it's England. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Matilda's good, bad, just right.
Just right, I reckon. Just right.
Just right.
Yeah, you're
a lot of youth. I agree with you. A lot of youth. Sam Kerr to come back in.
The manager's already said that.
That's right.
It's going to take some settling period.
He's got to rebuild this team after. Yeah.
And it's good that he did.
Yeah.
Because I can, that takes the heat off of them. That he's given them that time to just fly under the radar and build what they've got to build before the next Olympics and then the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think it's in that order.
Agreed. Yeah, it is. All right.
Oh, and Asian Cup.
Cup,
We're hosting the Asian Cup.
Hosting the Asian Cup.
I only heard that not long ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go for it, mate. What do you got?
The final shot. I've got Adelaide to beat Gold Coast. I've been rubbing my hands together since round, 2, 3?
That's putting your neck out on the line.
Oh, look. Yeah, it is. Old mate Mac Andrews will stick his neck out on the line.
The team who's flying against the team who can't travel. And
look, we went through this before. It's a pretty crappy week. It's a pretty crappy week. And you know what? I might just do that. Let's go. I'll throw a little bit of extra in. Mac Andrews to concede 6 goals this week. That's about how he's playing.
I work him over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I've gone. You West Coast fans, I've gone. Yeah. Again, I said I wasn't going to probably do it, but I've gone you guys to beat Richmond at 9. So come on, don't let me down. This is going to be your week.
Oh, look, I sincerely hope West Coast lose and
get ready up, mate. Get ready up and get those middle fingers operating well.
I hope they have a 1-win season this season, West Coast. Well, and don't even bother asking for a priority pick or assistance package.
I think they're going to have a 2-win season because it's going to be Richmond on the weekend.
Oh.
So I want to ask you a question, Liam.
Yeah.
What kind of tea is hard to swallow for Crows fans?
Most teas.
Reality. Good night.